Hello guys, welcome to this new video. My name is Eric Patterson. Today I will talk about what is a repository. But before we continue, don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you don't have to miss any video. Now, let's talk about what is a repository in simple term, right? What is a repository? What is a GitHub repository? Because one thing that you will hear a lot when talking about GitHub will be the GitHub repository. So what is a GitHub repository, right? A GitHub repository, often abbreviated as repo, that's why people call it repo, is a central location where data or file are stored, organized, and managed, right? Just a central location where people store data, they organize them, and they also manage them. And those data can be anything like script, can be anything like a programming code, anything, right? Just the place that stuff are stored, organized, and managed, right? The term repository can be used in various contexts, right, guys? So that term can be used in various contexts, but it commonly refer, it commonly refer to the same thing, right? So they can, when you hear about rep or repository, so they just refer to the same thing, meaning it is just a place where people go there and actually, store data or file, and that they organize, manage, right? They store that, they organize that, and they manage those. Now, there are some features, right? There are some features that this has. So remember, the nickname is called repo. So people often don't say repository that much. They will say a repo. So if you hear repo, that's talking about repository. Repo is actually a nickname or a shortcut of a repository. Now, the GitHub repository have some core feature that we need to talk about here, right? But earlier I told you guys that it is just a place where we store, we store files and data, we manage them also as well there. So, but it has some cool feature that I want us to talk about here. For example, the software version control, right? Software version control. So in the context of software development, a repository is fundamental component of version control system like Git, right? It is a place where developers store and manage the source code of a source project. Repository in the context, repository in this context are used to track change, collaborate with others, and maintain historical code revision, right? That's just what it is. Now, the also good feature that I mentioned earlier is here the data storage, right? In a broader sense, a repository can refer to any storage system or location where data, documentation, or file are stored and organized. This can include digital repository for research data, document management system, the documentation, right? Documentation management, and database, right? Then we also have one key feature, the knowledge management. Repository can also be used for knowledge management purpose, right? They serve as central repository for storing and retrieving information, document, resources within the organization, right? Making it easier for employee to access and share knowledge, right? People can also, share documentation knowledge there. Then we have the content management that I mentioned earlier, content management system, also called CMS, often used repository to store and manage their digital content, right? Such as text, image, video, and other material, right? This repository help organize and delivering content for website and application. So you can store anything on the repository, a text, an image, a video, a media, like you can store anything in the repository. So in quick summary, a repository is a location or system where data, file, or code are stored, right? Managed and organized. Depending on the specific content in which the term is used, it plays a crucial role in version control, data management, knowledge sharing, and content organization across various domains. So just in simple, a repository is just a place where we store data, and those data can be, this data can be a file, they can be directory, they can be images, for example, they can be audio, they can be video, they can be anything, right? It's just a place where we store stuff on GitHub. For example, if I take you to the GitHub account. This is a GitHub account, for example. If we pick one of these repository here, I can store anything that I want here, right? I can store anything that I want here. There's a file here, for example. I can probably add another file, or I can even upload something, right? I can click here to upload something, anything from my computer. I can click here to create a file. Let's create like a simple file. Let's just call it file. Then we can put any content into that file, right? We can put any content into the file. Then we go ahead and create the file. As you can see here, when I go back to the repository, I now has a file. If I click, I'll be able to read what I put in the file. That's just a repository. So it's just a place where people put a lot of stuff. Now, if I search, for example, on GitHub, just to show you, if I search on GitHub, so let's click here and say, for example, if we tap stuff like Docker Compose here on GitHub, we'll be able to see someone repository, right? Look at the repository from someone. As you can see here, he stores, these are directories, these are file, and inside directory, you might see other directory or file. So these are directory and file. That's just what, is called repository. Just a place where you put bunch of stuff. I always think that a repository is like a drawer. Like in my office right now, I have a drawer, right? In that drawer, I can put envelope, and inside those envelope, they can be letters, right? Then I can put envelope and letters in my drawer. I can put an envelope inside another envelope and put on my drawer. And then I can put anything on my drawer. For example, not like I can put anything when it comes to file. I can put a DVD on my drawer. For example, I can put an audio tape on the flash drive and put on my drawer. So it's just like a bucket, right? So where you basically put everything. It was a pleasure having you guys around. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe and also like it. You can, if you have any question, put it on the comment. I will respond. Don't forget to follow us also on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. See you guys on the next video.